Big news today, as far as I'm concerned, because we've been following this story for months now, if not longer. Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins. Coach Mike McDaniel says it's a very fluid situation, taking it day by day. Why doesn't he have a contract? Deadlines drive action. Don't the smart people tell us that all the time? Deadlines drive action. Well, sometimes they don't. The deadline, as a practical matter, was the start of training camp. Is he there? Is he not there? Is he practicing? Is he not practicing? For now, it's fluid. Here's the bottom line. He's due to make $23.1 million this year. That's what he has. What he can get is presumably an offer from the Dolphins that would be maybe $45 million per year in new money, with significant full guarantee at signing, significant injury guarantee to protect him against a return of the spate of concussions that he suffered in 2022. And then there's what he wants. We talked about this not that long ago, I think. What you have, what you can get, and what you want. And the only way to get what you want is to say, I don't want what I can get. I want what I want. And I'm going to exercise the leverage available to me to get what I want. And remember, yeah, he's under contract, but the CBA gives him contractual rights as a member of the union. He has the right to stay away. He has the right to hold out deep into training camp. He has the right to miss regular season games if he wants to. So what are the Dolphins going to do? What is Tua going to do? It doesn't seem to be his nature to go against the grain. There's a certain amount of compliance that is inherent to being a successful football player. Yes, coach. Yes, coach. Whatever you say, coach. Oh, I'll be at practice, coach. Oh, I'll be at voluntary workouts, coach. I know they're not really voluntary because I do whatever the coach tells me. Whatever the coach tells me to do, whatever he asks me to do, whatever he suggests I should do is never voluntary. So this is his play. And he views himself as a guy who should get market value. At a minimum, his representation does. Because I know that they're already and have been making arguments based upon statistical comparisons between Tua and other guys who are at the top of the market, like Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, etc. So what are they going to do? And what's he going to do? Is he going to take a stand? I can't think of a time that a veteran quarterback held out in a contract dispute. Rookies, yes. Veterans, no. Matthew Stafford, we saw that yesterday. And he wasn't going to hold in. I think they got this done yesterday because he wasn't walking through the door without the contract he'd been promised months ago by the Rams. I'm not going to take your word for it again. I took your word for it in April and I still haven't gotten it. I'm not walking through the door until you pay me. And they did. We'll get the details eventually, but they took the 3 years left on his contract. They added no new years. They've reconfigured the money. Surely they've given him more guarantees. Surely they've given him more cash. And now he's in the fold. Jordan Love holding in. We'll see when he gets his deal. Tua, he might have to hold out. And the other thing about Tua possibly holding in, I didn't love the comment from Tyreek Hill that he expects that Tua will practice because he's so competitive. Dude, nobody got in the way of you getting paid. Don't get in the way of Tua getting paid. And you can say, oh, he needs to get paid. Oh, he deserves it. Oh, he deserves it. But yeah, he's not gonna refuse to practice. He's too good of a teammate. He's too much of a competitor. Stop it with that. That gets in the way of the guy getting paid. And meanwhile, I don't think Tyreek's getting paid. And when we poked around about this, when it was clear that Tyreek had been trying since the end of last season to get a new contract, the Dolphins might not be willing to do anything. I think at the end of the day, the most they'll do is take some of the cash from that phony final year in 2026 and move it into this year when he's under $20 million per year. But he's only got 2 years that he has been with the Dolphins since he got the big contract after he was traded by the Chiefs. So he doesn't see, he said yesterday that he told his agent to not get him traded again. He understands that as a receiver, you get traded once, okay, you can maybe say it was fault on both sides. You get traded twice, you're the problem. I mean, that was the prevailing thought when Stephon Diggs got traded the second time by the Bills. They've got to counter this notion that Stephon Diggs is, too demanding and too sullen and wants the ball, and I just think he's very competitive, and he wants everyone around him to hold themselves to the same standard he holds himself to, and when it doesn't happen, he gets frustrated. I understand Stephon Diggs, and I think that there may be just this switch that flips from time to time when the frustration just kind of overwhelms him. He's a very good-natured guy. I think Tyreek Hill's trying to avoid getting painted with that brush, so he may have to take whatever he can get. But don't get in the way of Tua getting paid. See, this is how I don't keep it under a half hour. I've gone from Tua into Tyreek, but they are kind of combined here. Don't get in the way of Tua getting paid. Let him try to get what he wants. And if the Dolphins aren't going to do it, they're not going to do it. They'll go forward with the guys they have on the roster, Skylar Thompson and Mike White, and maybe they'll be just as good. You know, there's this thought out there. There's 20 or more quarterbacks who could run the Dolphins offense as well as Tua does. Maybe the Dolphins are going to have to prove that to themselves, to Tua, and to everyone else. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.